This is Kelso Sturgeon. Welcome to another day at my College of Advanced Sports Handicapping. We're going to talk about college basketball, NBA basketball, and NFL football, of course, on this lesson. 3 big plays over the weekend. On Saturday, it's my second 100-unit college blowout basketball game of the week. Got all the money last week with the first one, Mississippi over Rutgers. On Sunday, my 100-unit NFC game of the year, looking to get it all done, believe it or not, probably with an underdog. On Monday, I've elevated the unit rating on the Houston Texans at New England Patriots showdown from 10 to 50 units. Found out a couple of things about this game that I think gives us a nice opportunity to take down the big cash again. So 50 units on Monday night. Review it again. 100-unit college basketball blowout on Saturday. 100-unit NFC game of the year on Sunday. 50-unit play on the Houston Texans at the New England Patriots on Monday night. All these games available on this website and toll free at 1-800-755-2255. Looking to get the money big all 3 days, and with all my other services and my normal selections. You know, there's a lot going on in basketball right now, and I've got to touch on it. You know, if you've been betting on 6 teams headed by, or 6 very popular teams headed by Kentucky and Kansas, obviously primetime blue chip basketball programs, you must be suffering because those 6 teams have gone 5-31 against the number, which means they've covered 16% of the time this season. Now here are the teams. You've got Kansas, Kentucky, Marshall, Massachusetts, Texas, El Paso, and Vanderbilt, 5-31 against the number this season. Also, at the other end of the spectrum, if you bet on Syracuse, Maryland, and Charlotte, Charlotte being a really upstart 8-0 team, you're 24-0-3 against the number, which means you've cashed every single ticket that you bet on these 3 teams, Syracuse, Maryland, and Charlotte. In the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies have emerged as the best team in the league and still remain a bit underrated, which I think is reflected in their record. Memphis is 13-3 straight up, 12-3-1 against the number. It's impossible in this day and age to, almost impossible, to go 13-3 straight up and not catch anybody's attention and still have edges in the numbers, standing 12-3-1 ATS. So once again, the Memphis Grizzlies, a betting favorite, covering 80% of the time. I don't know whether that'll continue, but right now, Memphis covering 80% of the time this season in the NBA. Now let's talk a little bit about basketball and the Monday night game. You know, the New England Patriots are the 7-2 favorites to win the Super Bowl. The Houston Texans are the 9-2 second choices to win the big one, and these teams meet on Monday night. Now, when I first released this game, it looked very complicated and very close when you factored in the number, and I said to myself, you know, there's really not much of an edge here. I like the game, but I'm going to release it at just 10 units. But I really got into studying this game, and little by little, I was swayed that this was a big play, that there were edges that one of these teams had that the other one didn't have, and so Monday Night Football will be a 50-unit play, and looking to get the cash there too. Now, on Sunday, my 100-unit NFC game of the year is being released with a 90% chance to win straight up and 85% chance to cover the number. It doesn't get any better than that in the NFL. Believe me, and I'm looking to get all the cash with this team in very, very impressive fashion. Now, keep in mind that the college bowl season begins 1 week from Saturday, and that on that day, December the 15th, there are 2 games. We have the New Mexico Bowl from Albuquerque, matching Arizona and Nevada. We have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl from Boise, matching Toledo and Utah State. I will be releasing one of those games at the 50-unit level, by the way. And you know, you can get the rest of this year's bowl games and all my big plays in the NFL in my December to Remember package, just $249, available on this website. and toll free at 1-800-755-2255. And I do take all major credit cards. Now, I think the basketball betting lines this season are tighter than they've ever been. It's obvious the bookmakers got tired of getting buried in basketball, which they have been over the last 10 years, and decided to really put their heart and soul into making betting lines and making certain that bettors were challenged and didn't find any easy spots on any day of the schedule. They've been pretty successful. Now, here's how you can beat the game, and I've done that quite well this season. First of all, here's the 10 steps to winning basketball. First of all, you have to know what you're doing. Second, you have to have a well-defined and very restricted formula that you stick with for handicapping, and this formula needs to maximize your chances for winning and minimize your chances for losing. And of course, winning and losing is all about money. I handle this particular aspect of the game by my unit rating system. You have to have accurate numerical ratings on all 347 of the NCAA colleges and of the 30 NBA teams. I have numerical ratings on all of them because they do cross paths during the season. And I need to know before I even see a number on a game what my evaluation is. And so you need to have numbers on these games. You need to spend all the time it takes to analyze these games. You can't just pick up a schedule in the year 2012 and say, well, I like this team, and this team. There's a lot of reasons to like teams that if you dig a little bit below the surface, it's not they're not quite as attractive as they look. And that brings me to my next point. I always double back on any game that I like and try to figure out why I shouldn't bet it. In other words, I like a team, now I want to go back and see if I can find a reason not to like that team. Obviously, if I can't, it's full speed ahead. I also accept the fact that there are a few easy winners. It's just not out there. The betting lines are tight. I would say that over the last 3 or 4 days, 75% of all basketball games played, the number was in play in that high number, which is really unusual. The next point is you have to have absolutely no fear of losing. If you think that if you fear losing, it's very difficult for you to win. It's as simple as that. You have to understand that all bets are not created equal, and they're not. There are some games that merit 10 units of play and some that merit 200 units of play. You've got to figure out which is which, where the edge is, and what the risk versus reward factor is. And you've got to possess the mental makeup to know when to take a stand on a 50 unit, a 100 unit, a 200 unit play. You've got to have the mental makeup that permits you to pull the trigger when you know you have all the edges and can take your best shot to make a big score. And last but not least, you've got to understand the marriage of the betting line and the ability of a basketball team, and you can't escape without that. You've got to understand why the line is what it is. So those are 10 points. I've reviewed them here. They're also in the newsletter that's coming to you right now. Take a look at it, get a read, and I think it'll step you up a little bit. And let's just review once again what's happening this weekend. On Saturday, my 100-unit college blowout game of the week, looking for an easy win. On Sunday, my 100-unit NFC game of the year, looking for a solid knockout play with a team that has a 90% chance to win straight up, an 85% chance to cover. And last but not least, on Monday night, a 50-unit play on the showdown between the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, all these games are available on this website and toll free at 1-800-755-2255.